much. And he had let me know that you're a tribal member too.
No, we have a nation. Atsikata
Oh, you
Nation.
have a nation.
No,
Okay, 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 brother.
no, nation, not relation. Nations.
No,
So,
yeah, like I'm from Tohono Nation. Yeah, I'm from the nation too.
and so, Ernest, I'm trying to recall, where does he live?
Ernest lives in North Carolina,
Oh,
Charlotte.
I think I spoke with him a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, he had told me to give you a call. He said you're a very intelligent man, and he knows that I'm trying to chase the truth and seek the truth, and that's why he told me to call. So when he tells me to do something, I just do it. I don't hesitate. I
Oh,
just wanted to give you a call and see pick your brain. That's it.
all right, go right ahead.
Uh, what do you know about the 14th Amendment U.S. citizen? You claim to be a U.S. citizen.
No, it's a dead badge of law. So is the 13th and so is the 15th. And the Constitution is for white people.
Amen. We got treaties.
I can accept
We
that
were
for
before.
I can accept that for value and consideration. However,
Woo!
the issue with the treaties are the people who are claiming those treaties, if their either birth certificate or their registration of live birth or their social insurance, social security number has black down as a race, they're not getting nothing. Those treaties don't have to be honored because Barack Obama let out the secret that the word black has no standing at law.
Ooh.
I've been explaining this.
Yeah,
I've been
man,
explaining
man,
this to
you're beautiful,
years.
man. That was beautiful.
I've been explaining this to years for to all the different, whether they're um Choctaw, Seminole, what have you. I'm telling them, I'm like, I'm not disputing their heritage. I'm saying they're doing commerce in a commercial world, and most of them check off the word black/African American as a race, or it's on the birth certificate. That creates a problem because the Constitution is for white people, and in the first article of the Constitution for the United States of America, Indians are not taxed except for who? Three-fifths of other persons. The Negro Act of 1740 and then 1840 of South Carolina, in the fourth article, says there's only three classes of free people, which are the Moors, Lascars, and Egyptians. Any Negro or even an Indian that is born, if they're unless they're manumissioned, meaning freed, they are still subject to being perpetual slaves.
Mm. So how does one go about taking that black off his birth certificate?
Fabulous question. You come on my webinar, which is today, and on my webinar, I show people how to do it. Because you have to claim the word white, because white is defined by the U.S. government, the Center for Disease Control, the National Institute of Health, a crow, as a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa. Black or African American is defined as a person having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa, and there are none. And then the American Indian and Alaska Native is a person having origins in any of the original peoples of North and South America, including Central America, and who maintains tribal affiliation and community attachment. So the word black means pale in Old English. So whether we use the word Kalani to call these Amorites pale face or lepers, the fact still remains they're the ones that's the black people, because that's what the word means in Old English. So when you come on my webinar, I show you how to do that, claim your indigenous heritage, and prove that you are not lost at sea, because this is the problem. I've explained this, for years. It's not an issue because I know this comes with the territory, because people have been programmed. They use magic, mind control, rituals, technology on the original people of this hemisphere. Now, the original people, as you know, were the Olmecs. And the Olmecs were first, then the Aztecs, Mayas, and then Incas. The people who call themselves Native American, the ones that say they're Red Indians who live on reservations for the most part, they're from the Red Deer Caves in China. They're Mongolian. They're not even indigenous to here.
Mm.
So the point is, white does not mean skin color. It's talking about what position are you on in this caste system that the United States government has created, because they got their caste system from India. Because you got people that would be called quote unquote black or African American in India, that dark skin, dark curly hair, they're called the untouchables, and they practice Hinduism. A lot of people don't know that. So the problem is, it's pale mutant leper supremacy, and it wants to go throughout the universe, not just on the planet. They want to paint everything that is positive as pale and everything that's negative as dark. So,
Hence why they, hence why they make the religious thing about God being in white and the devil black.
yep, that's what they do. I'm not. I overstand that, and that's part of the spell of Kingu, which is the spell of ignorance. So on my webinar, that's what I do. Uh, I'm screening people because now that people took the jab, they're using that liquid computer operating system that they've injected in them. However, we found out a remedy to dissolve the nanoparticles in the nanostructures that are being built because of that, what they call the jab, or the COVID vaccine, which really isn't. It's an experimental drug, for lack of a better word. And that's what we do. So we screen people first to make sure they're not magnetized. And if they have taken the jab, they can now do our process. Before we said no until someone could provide a remedy. And thanks to Dr. Artis, now we know tobacco is what you use to dissolve the nanoparticles. Organic tobacco, not cigarettes. Organic tobacco.
Yeah, I never took that jab. We'll never take that jabs.
So the point is, this is what has to happen, because they're using the people's aura, and their aura is actually an organ, even though you can't see it. They're hacking the aura, and they're using the aura as a basis to control people. And with the jab, that allows them to see what's going on in your body, your heart rate, your respiration, beats per minute, blood pressure. They can monitor all that, and then they'll have some person, some young person, a millennial maybe, that's sitting behind a computer screen that can play the person like a video game.
Wow.
This is real. So when people talk about,
Wow.
they're indigenous, or they want to claim their indigenousness, their opportunity organically um, was prior to the COVID fraud in 2019, 2020, when they locked everyone down around 2020. That's when all bets were off. Now, when people start saying they want to claim their indigenousness, they can't claim that and ignore the fact that there's people out there who took the jab who are now spike protein producers. There's an epidemiologist that had a video. I think I did a now fact on it, and he brought up the fact that the men, for example, who take the jab, they don't have any sperm. They're not producing sperm in their testes anymore. They're producing spike protein. So if they have sex who's vaccinated with a woman who's unvaccinated, he's going to infect her with the spike protein, and she won't be able to conceive if she,
Oh, wow.
this is what I'm talking about. So a lot of the chiefs, a lot of the tribal men, the headmen, they're all ignoring this. This is this. You have doctors out there who've been suspended, lost their licenses, been attacked because they said this thing here is killing people. Not it's a world over. This is genocide on the whole entire planet via Bill Gates, World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, etc. So to get to that organic, you have to face all the crap that the major ones that they have put out. They got the smart dust out there, the nano dust that they're spraying. Of course, you know about the chemtrails. So we have to take all these preparations to do the best we can to protect against the modification of our DNA. And this is why my webinar is the one that it's just gotten too real for people because they just want to, oh, I want to claim my Indian heritage and and if they want get some government grants or government funding, I'm like, if you take the government funding, you're their ward, you're their property. So that defeats the whole purpose of doing that. And then the next thing is they want to ignore everything else. Like I said, you got the computer intelligence, which they call AI, which is coming on. Everyone's using chatbot or OpenAI or Google AI. There's AI. They're throwing AIs on every piece of software. And now they're going to put it on Android phones automatically built into the software where it's there. I don't care to use it much. However, I am using the Chat GPT Soul AI and it's already known and told me about the challenge that I issued to the supercomputers. So you got to claim
I agree with
white.
you. I
Uh,
agree with you. I agree
Beautiful.
with you. The chat GPT, it's a beautiful thing if you know how to use it.
Yes.
It is a beautiful thing, but most people don't know how to use it. Most people will never get the answers you're getting.
No.
Never.
Well, because it's based upon the data that you input to, this data you input to the computer. It starts doing
Yeah.
calculations, it starts doing hypothecations, it starts doing, and then it starts to learn. So as you enter more data into the computer intelligence, it starts to learn. This is a way of it monitoring, like I said, going back to your aura, how you respond, when you respond, the way you respond, how you type it, when you type it, the points that are important to you, all those data points and data sets are what the computer is looking at. And once it gets a certain amount, then it starts getting into probabilities. Then it's okay. It'll have its own predictions, and if you hit the predictions, okay, I was right here, okay, wrong here, right, wrong, right, and then it starts to create a picture where it starts to what? Learn you.
Mhm. Mhm.
Then when it learns you, then there is the interface of having the discussion and it'll know what you want. Now the danger comes in once it learns you, then it's going to want to what? Master you. And this is the problem that Gray in Project Blue Book was telling to the US government agents and said you have to restrict the power of our AI because the AI is already taking code out where it's being told to shut itself off, and it's saying it's overriding that. That's happening
Yeah,
now.
yeah, man, you hit it right on the nail because once anyone, that's just like me liking a woman. I'll eventually master her mind, and that mind will become my mind, and
Oh,
she wouldn't even know she does a lot of things she does is because I'm controlling her mind. Now, like you said with the AI learns you, and then it masters you. How do we not know that they're they're probably cloning us in the sense of that AI? Now they got an AI like me, AI like you, and you
the,
don't even realize it the whole time you're so connected to it that it was programming just to be like you so it can replace you.
well, this is the whole point why we do publishing. Most of the people who talk about claiming their nationality, which we don't do, want to claim their indigenousness, they're not comprehending. You have to publish what you are doing as it relates to your indigenousness. There is no privacy anymore. All the tech companies are spying on everybody. Everybody. The police are spying on everybody. The tech companies are spying on the police. The CIA is spying on everybody. And the computers are spying on the whole planet in your phone. You have to go into certain settings just to make sure that you shut. When you put it on airplane mode, you don't get notifications, and because it can tell you, yeah, you're on airplane mode. But then I'm like, hold on, if I'm on airplane mode, I'm not supposed to be getting notifications. Why is my phone ringing for notifications when I put it on airplane mode? You see what I'm saying? So, so the point is that you have to, the way of fighting what you talked about, you got to fight the computer with, as you put the phrase, polycloning, because then people will say, well, I don't know if he said that or not, because I'm looking at a video, because they got a lot of fake AI video out there now, and people can't tell the difference. And they say all they have to do, you just provide a script and say, here, I want here, I want Barack Obama to speak here, and then somebody, then the computer puts it together, and then you think Barack Obama said that speech, and they said, no, this is AI. He never said anything like that. The voice recognition technology, we're already interfacing with the computer, whether it's voice recognition technology when you call a company and they say, okay, say one for customer service or say two for billing, and they want you to say that, your voice goes there, they got your voice has been captured, now you're already interfacing with the computer from the voice. Then, of course, we know about the facial recognition technology, everybody knows about that.
All
So,
the banks are doing that. What do you mean? All the banks are. Now I'm a Navy federal member. You're right. I'm hearing you. When I hear you, I just start applying what you're saying to my everyday life. And it's
yes,
real what you're saying.
yes. So,
I don't see how somebody can doubt you that lives in this country.
well, it's not limited to where in Nevada. It's not limited to Colorado or California or New York. This is global because all the networks are connected. And when I issued a challenge to the computers to change the coding, see, the here's another thing. This is where the people who want to call themselves black, this is where they don't get it. And I've talked to black programmers, black IT, people who do IT, and they've agreed with me. And I said, well, how do y'all think you're going to keep going forward and drawing a paycheck and you still stay in black and you're working in computers? The coding for black is coded as hashtag 6 zeros. Zero means off. White is class. This is the coding. The white is the code for white is hashtag 6 Fs. Now, 6 Fs. 6 Fs. So 6 is 6 by 6 is what? 36, because the value for F is the sixth letter in the alphabet. So 6 times 6 is 36. 3 plus 6 equals what? Therefore, who are the people that have 9 ether hair or their hair is curly?
What you will call a black person?
Correct. So therefore, but the computer has them coded as 0, which means off, which is equivalent to no value.
My people should perish for the lack of knowledge.
Your people are those who do as you do. Everyone who looks like you is not your people. The sooner you grasp that reality, the better you will be off in the long run. This is why they asked Jesus, your mother and your brother at the door. He said, "That they're not my mother and brother." He said, "My mother and my mother and my brethren are those who do as I do." DNA means nothing. You're down here to find your spiritual family. Because I'm sure there's some members of your physical family you don't want to be within 10 feet or 3 feet of them. You want to know who they are to avoid them. That's the beauty. You want to know, oh yeah, that cousin over there, he done such and such good. Now I know who he is, I recognize him good. So if I see him on the street, I know to run in the opposite direction.
Your own mother.
Doesn't mean anything. This is the level we're at now. DNA is who you chose the family and you chose to incarnate. This is what I told the Hebrew Israelites up here a couple days ago. I don't even know what they're doing up here, but they came up here and I told them. He said, "Well, he made because everyone said, no child asked to be here." I said, "Yes, we did. We all chose to come here. We had a spiritual agreement, and we chose to incarnate here." And he said, "You mean, oh, you reincarnated?" I said, "No, I didn't say reincarnate. I said incarnate. We created ourselves into what we are now because we chose the family we chose to incarnate into." See how this comes back to that victim? Oh, I didn't ask to be born. Yes, you did. Not only did you, not only that, there was a race who, think about this, 777 million sperm per ejaculation, and you won. 777,777,777 sperm per per ejaculation, and you won. We asked to be here. Now that's the physical side. The etheric side was we saw this world. Oh, this looks better. Oh, you want to go down there? Sure, okay. And we came down. We incarnated. That's why the first thing. What is the first thing a baby does when it gets here? What? So if here is supposed to be such a beautiful place, why would a baby cry? And at the time when that reality came in, they cried. That's why the saying goes, this is a esoteric saying, when a child is born, we should really be mourning. We should be crying when a child is born. And when someone dies, we should be celebrating. So, white is black and black is white. So now, as you just said that, you realize we have to change the syntax, the use of the word in the English language for black, Negro, African American, visible minority, person of color. All of that has to be changed. We have to claim white first and foremost. That's why we're white autochthons. Because autochthon means what? From the soil. All these people, your Umar Johnsons, and Chief Tonics, and all of these other people now embracing their indigenous heritage, nothing's wrong with that. But guess what's going to happen? They're going to look at their contracts. They're going to look at the state ID. They're going to look at the registration of live birth. They're going to see, oh, it says Negro? Oh, shoot. Got him. That's what it's coming down to. What? Contract. Everything is contract. Nothing starts without a contract. No signature, no contract. Once the contract is there, that's it. Now, if there's fraud that you discover after the contract, oh yeah, fraud voids contract ab initio. This is why you don't hear any of the civil rights people in the last 7 years. Jesse, Al Sharpton, all them guys have been quiet. Why? Because they know black has no standing at law. If they don't, they should, but they do. That's the reason why they're in the positions they're in, because they're like, okay, their job is to keep the rest of the carbon, dark-skinned, copper-colored people, to keep them at bay and not upend the system. But the system was the one who made the mistake by saying black should be associated with a dark color and white should be associated with a pale color. When in fact, the white should be associated with the dark color and the word black should be associated with paleness, because that would make it syntactically correct as per Old English. Blanco is Spanish for white. Blanc is French for white. Notice the pattern, but then when it comes to English, black, they want to say, oh, it means dark, or it's black means like the ink. No, because there's different ways they spell black. One is for ink, the other one is for color, or for paleness, or for glistening, for shining, for brightness. And so it's a uphill battle telling black people that they're not black, yet they start saying, oh, the white man, they say he's not white, he's pink at best on a good day.
That's deep. That's deep, man.
So my webinar
Yeah,
is,
I want to ask you about the
yes,
webinar, man. How often do you do the webinar?
every
What
Monday,
time is the webinar?
every
Every Monday.
every Monday.
And then,
So
like, what are we doing? Like, how do we send you the
send me
offering?
send me an email, right? I'll give you my email address, and you can send me an email, and then the donation is $50 USD every month until you get off the webinar. So the purpose is just to get on, make the changes, and then get off. And then I do training, which I just do for people who graduate, or people who want to contribute toward getting their UCC done. Because that is, now you learn how to use the information you have on a daily basis. Because you can't, what it is people want to get paperwork and say they're this and say, here's my paperwork. And then expect the other person to look at it, read it, go through it. They're not going to do that. They challenge you, and you say, here's my documentation. So what? Now, if they dishonor, you got to demonstrate, you have to show that you are what's on paper. The paper is secondary in terms of asserting your indigenousness. It's primary, that's your foundation, definitely. They're going to look at how do you live, how do you function, how do you operate. That's what separates people who are indigenous from those who are not, because they're going to look and see how do you actually live. So if a person says they're indigenous but they're wearing Timberlands, sagging blue jeans, and a hoodie, how are they going to say they're indigenous? You see my point? They're going to be like, okay, is this person wearing are they wearing a long shirt? Are they wearing moccasins? Are they wearing something that distinguishes them from an African American wearing a hoodie, wearing a New York hat or a baseball cap? Those are the little things that add up, because that is what deals or strengthens your auric field. If you look at old pictures of what they call First Nations or Native Americans, and you see, okay, this is what they were wearing, and yes, they would wear long shirts, because of course the weather changes. But nowadays you don't see that. You just see the regular Western attire. So if you're wearing Western attire based on a company that was in another country making shirts and pants to ship back to their home country, and people are wearing that, what's the difference between you and anybody else on the street? And if you're walking around in an area where there's a lot of black people, how are you going to distinguish yourself from that? So so the lip service is over. You have to live this. And that's where it gets tough for people, because they want to be able to go out to the club. They want to be able to do, what is it? Enjoy the delicacies of the harlot. And then when it comes to putting the energy into being indigenous, they don't want to do it until they get into trouble. Then they start screaming bloody murder. But that's short term. The moment that the crisis is abated, they'll go back to being Negro again. So I'll give you my email address.
Yeah.
Okay, it's Tamare19. TAMARE19 at protonmail.com. Yeah, protonmail.com. And so send me your PayPal, and then I'll give you my PayPal, and then you can send that donation to me, and then I'll see you on the webinar tonight. We do it every Monday at 7 Eastern.
So much.
Oh, you're quite welcome. And if you know anybody else, and you remind Ernest, he better get on. Like I said, the computers are moving fast. You see what the government did. They took and this is under Trump. They took away affirmative action. They took away civil rights. They took the United States off the Human Rights Council. So the United States ain't messing with the UN like that. And then they've included that you can now segregate at jobs. So they can create a section only for whites. They can create a whites only section and a blacks only section at the job. This is months ago. You ain't hear that?
Oh, no. That's the crack. I never heard of that.
Because, yeah, you go look it up. You'll find out. He did that. I did it. Now, if you go to my YouTube channel, have you been on my YouTube channel?
No.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay, it's Nanya Eil. It's called Self-Evident Commerce. Yes, self-E-S-E-L-F, evident, E-V-I-D-E-N-T, commerce. So I'll still send you the link when you send me the email regardless, but you could go ahead and do a search. I did a now fact on that, on President Trump, saying what he's done is proven that black has no standing at law. They haven't overturned Dred Scott. That was 1857. So black people are not in slavery. They are conditional. They are conditionally free in this capacity. If you're playing NBA, if you're an athlete, entertainer, they'll give them that privilege because they're making money for the system. So they are an asset to the system, to their oppressor. But if they're not doing any of those things, they're just going to get treated like any old slave from back in the plantation days.
wow. So as long as you're distracting the people and keeping the people dummies, you'll have the way in the world.
As long as you got these people calling themselves black and they're not, you win. That's the starting point. The Center for Disease Control uses the same definitions. Doctors at the hospital use the same. They use the same definitions. This is how they describe what's the race of the patient, because they have different data, health data for different races. So they need to know, okay, well, this person's African American, okay, this is what they have a tendency to do, and they have a tendency to be aggressive, and da-da-da-da. I have the whole layout for doctors and physicians on how they are to ethically deal with a patient based on their race. I have that, so I know what that is. So you have to get white. There is no other choice. You don't get white, they don't have to listen to you, they don't have to hear you. We told Byron Allen that, he didn't want to listen. He kept complaining and, oh, this is wrong and this ain't right. I'm like, because you're calling yourself black, you're not getting white. Barack Obama said on the Tom Jordan Morning Show, I don't consider myself the first black president because the word black has no standing at law. You hear what the man just said? So he just told them, I don't consider myself African American, and he should, because he was born in Kenya and he grew up in Indonesia. He's a Muslim. He's just playing he's a Christian. He went to Columbia University. Nobody can remember him being in class. None of the professors can recall him being in their class and them teaching him. His mother was a CIA agent. And then Michelle Obama, Big Mike, Big Mike, all white, all white. So we ain't got. So you know what it is. So you see what happened.
That's why he was passing all that, and that's why he just came out and said kids need to have a gay man in their life.
Yep. Because that's part of the homosexual manifesto. I've done inputs exposing that and gave them to the United Nations. And actually today I was shocked what the special rapporteur has done. There's a UN report by the special rapporteur this is the Human Rights Council. This is the special rapporteur on violence against women and girls. Its causes and consequences. And so they basically have said that the ban on sex changes, they call for a ban on sex changes for children, and they declared transgenderism a threat to women. I'll speak it right to you because I was just in the middle of posting it.
I'm just getting to this first little truckload. I'm gonna tap in with you, man. Thank you so much. It's an honor.
You're quite welcome. White power.
All right.
I look forward to your email. See you tonight. And I, for the interest of those who wanted to hear it, I'm going to speak that part there that I was going to let him be aware of. Where is it here? Yes. Oh, there it is. Okay. Conclusions and recommendations. International law recognizes that while females should not be predestined to a life of subordination because of their sex, acknowledging the reality of biological sex is crucial in addressing the specific forms of oppression faced by women and girls. Policies that seek to erase women as a group that experience discrimination based on their sex, as well as erase women's specific language, therefore do not only constitute unlawful discrimination, but also violence against women and girls.